Let's say you own a business. Your business manufactures metal parts. One day, you decide to buy extra materials and hold them in your warehouse. Money is invested in the materials. Space is now consumed, and other resources need to manage this inventory that has no demand. Even if you hedge it at a cheap price, it is still going to sit until demand is built. Okay, you work in a service company. You deal with information, not materials. Well, you still have inventory in the form of information. It takes time to generate data, space to store it in drives and clouds, and it consumes resources to manage it. Does this mean you should have no inventory? No, it means you need to manage your inventory. In this lecture, we will look at the waste of inventory. By the end of this lecture, you will know what the different types of inventory are, the effects of excess inventory, and some common solutions for reducing inventory waste. Inventory waste is any unnecessary storage of materials, products, or information. This might include raw materials, work in progress, finished goods, and MRO items that are used for supporting activities and operations. Keep in mind that information inventory has raw materials like data, work in progress, and finished goods as well. The type of inventory item something may be classified as depends upon where it lies in the value stream and what its purpose ultimately may be. A few examples of different types of inventory waste are shown in your handouts. Let's look at one for materials and one for information. Let's say you are manufacturing some parts, and in an effort to avoid changeovers and keep your machine running, you make more than you have demand for. This overproduction has resulted in excess inventory that has now consumed materials, time, space, and other resources. Now let's look at an example of information inventory. One of the most common examples is email. Your inbox acts as a warehouse for all that information. Many people have everything in their string, causing searches to return 1 million items, digging through folders, and tons of looking to occur before you can actually find what you need. This is information inventory. It takes up space, consumes time, and much of it adds no value at all. It is very important when seeking to reduce inventory that you are very cautious. The purpose of inventory is to support organizational strategy, operations, financial objectives, and create balance between efficiency, service, and investment cost objectives. Too much inventory can leave an organization starving with tied-up capital, and too little inventory can frustrate customers and drive them to other opportunities. Given those important purposes of inventory, we must be cautious that one action does not disrupt another. It is important to clarify that inventory is an asset until it is sold. Let's look at an example. When you purchase inventory, your balance sheet shows that inventory as an asset, meaning from a money perspective, there is no decrease in your net earnings, despite the fact that you purchased the inventory. When your inventory is sold, it becomes a cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold reduces your net earnings. A simple way to look at inventory is that all forms of inventory require an investment with no guarantee of what your ROI will be unless you have demand associated with that inventory. Every piece of inventory risks obsolescence, damage, carrying costs, and all with the possibility of never earning any type of return. In fact, it has been said that in a supply chain, as much as 60% of a balance sheet can be tied up in inventory. To put it simply, when you're selling inventory, cash flow is great. When you're not, cash flow is tied up in your inventory assets. So, how do we get so much inventory waste in our organizations? Inventory waste might be the result of safety stock that is built up to protect from delayed orders and shortages, poor scheduling such as push-type environments, and basing our scheduling on forecasts, which, as we all know, are almost always wrong. Think of it this way. Inventory can be likened to sailing on a beautiful ocean. The water you see is your inventory, nice and smooth, right? At first glance, yes. Like water in the ocean, inventory can hide late deliveries, defects, poor scheduling, and many other problems below the surface. As you begin to lower the level of your inventory by producing to demand, you reveal these opportunities to get better, chip away at problems, and free up resources. The bottom line is any type of inventory requires an investment, and investments always cost something, but don't always guarantee a return. So, what can we do to minimize the waste of inventory? First and foremost, the flow of materials and information must be reviewed. By establishing a healthy flow, you can expect to eliminate many waiting points where inventory piles up. Another added benefit of reducing inventory is that as waiting or queue points begin to disappear, the overall lead times of items and services will naturally go down. The next concept that will work in any work environment when it comes to lowering inventory is working based on real customer demand. What we mean specifically is to produce only what the customer is pulling for. Another very powerful method to reduce all forms of waste is mapping the value stream out and reducing other types of waste. This will reduce an organization's need to carry and hold excessive inventory amounts. One particular type of waste that you can focus on is overproduction. By producing goods and services in accordance with the customer's need, inventory will naturally go down. Some other tools and methods you can use are SMED or the reduce methodology. The basic premise of this tool is to increase the speed and flexibility of your changeovers. By doing this, machines do not have to run large batch sizes or long periods of time. They can run as close to customer demand as needed and change over rapidly. This quick changeover technique can also support an organization's conversion from large lot sizes and batch manufacturing to one-piece flow. One-piece flow, when balanced to production needs and based on an established takt time, can enable an organization to meet demand without building excessive amounts of inventory. The last tool we're going to mention in this module is Kanban. Kanban is a visual trigger that can be used to manage inventory. The Kanban system works off the pull of the customer, creating a more demand-driven enterprise, which results in lower inventory levels, less waiting, and better control of production amounts. Well, that wraps up our detailed look at the waste of inventory. So, until next time, my friends, keep on improving, and we will keep on giving you solutions that ignite your power.